Hello, I am Kristen Bomas, and welcome to Struck by Enlightenment, where we are on a conscious journey to life mastery.
And today we're going to talk about love. Love, I love it. I love love. So, what is it, and why is it that every human being wants love and looks for love and talks about love? Well, love is energy. And we all pretty much agree that we come from a source of energy, that we have this life energy within us, right? And that energy that we come from is love. So at the core of what we are about in truth is the energy of love. And so it is not by chance that every human being comes into this life with an awareness of love, knowing what it is and looking for it. It's not by chance that every human being is longing for love and is longing for a loving relationship. That's part of the unity and the harmony and the oneness that love generates in its feeling and in its essence. So, what is it about love in this life? If we came from a source of love, then why wouldn't it just be perfectly easy to find love in this life? Well, we have this thing called fear. And fear is the absence of love, and love is the absence of fear. Simple enough. But we experience fear on this plane with great purpose. We experience fear on this plane with great purpose. And that purpose is to allow us to start to be aware of who we are as we work through those fears and become absent of those fears or challenges in this life. So it goes something like this in my little parable. I have said that we come from energy. Well, I think most of us agree with that because we go back to energy. And we said the energy is love. Now let's switch that. Let's say the energy is sound. And that energy of sound is one chord, infinite notes. One sound, one chord, infinite notes. And your note C. And you know your note C, but you don't really know what that means because all you know is the sound of the chord. It's in perfect harmony and unity, one chord. Until one day, note C is out of tune. And the whole chord is like, whoa, note C is out of tune. It's out of tune. And you're like, oh, that's me, that's me. You're not separate from the chord. But being out of tune lets you be seen different from the chord. Your frequency, your energy is different. It's no longer in unity and harmony with. Okay? The out of tune is the fear of this life. Those are the challenges in this life. So the fear in this life is with great purpose. Now imagine being note C. As you tune and tune and tune and tune, you now are back into unity and harmony, perfect harmony with the rest of the chord, but you now have an awareness of your integral part of the whole. And so back to our topic of love, as we look at fear, fear is the absence of love. It's where you're out of tune. And so as you start to move through your challenges, the very first person you meet is self. And the love that you have for self, as it grows, opens that connection. Now, we look at taking that very love and uniting it with another. And now we start to create a unity that goes beyond just self, or at least we think it does. So the fear is an important part of the equation. It allows us to master. It allows us to go inward, to go beyond. And in that self-mastery, the goal is self-love. And why is self-love so very, very important? Because that's where it all begins. This life is your life, and you are love. And as you start to really love the self that is of love, you start to understand what an integral part you are to all of your relationships. So we want to look at that inside ourselves, right? What is it that we do bring to our relationships? We know what we want from our relationships, or maybe you haven't gone that far, but you know what you want from the partner, right? But what about what you bring to the table? That other person isn't going to complete you. You are complete in and of yourself. And they are complete in and of themselves. Note C is not incomplete without note D. That's just not the way that works. We have note C, we have note D, each is complete. But when you start to put all of those notes together, it creates a very different sound in the chord. So when we're looking for love in this life, we're looking to expand our energy of love, to expand the meaning of love, and to unite, creating a harmonious relationship with another or more, right? So love is a very, very, very powerful, glorious part of this existence. Where there is any sort of judgment, attachment, any sort of suffering, our love wanes, or maybe it's just not existent at that time, right? Could be on either side of those things, but not at that time. And in this life, we do have those experiences, right? We have our fears, we have our sufferings, we have our attachments and our judgments. So how do we move through those? Well, that's part of self-mastery. Another topic, another day. But as we do move through those, we start to open doors to greater love for ourselves. And that love takes us away from judging others, because we judge only in the way we're fearful of being judged. So now we have taken this self-mastery, we move into some self-love, we now open our heart to another, and in opening our heart, we know exactly what we're opening, and we know what we're looking to receive, because we know what it feels like to be loved and to be love. And so we are starting to unite from that point of reference. I keep talking about how we want to unite and feel the harmony of the love and the partnership, right? And that partnership is also with us and the whole, the chord, as we're calling it, right? So you hear people say all the time that there is so much more than this life, and that we are connected, that we aren't separate, that we aren't alone. And you hear all of this, and even logically, cognitively, it may make sense and you may agree with it, but what does it really feel like? Well, as we start to open to the love within, there is a connection that is made to that source of love that just kind of opens the wisdom within. And that wisdom is that space where the knowingness is connected to all that is as well. So all of a sudden this connectedness starts to happen inside, so that you aren't alone. And it's not just words. It's that you can start to feel this expansiveness of self, of life, that love brings you. And that expansiveness through love then joins you with the expansiveness of love in others and beyond. So that love is the expansion. It is the energy that then is the connection. Now, some people will get to that point and some people won't. But let's bring it back to a physical experience. If in fact, I have really worked hard to really learn to love myself, and my partner has worked really hard to love their self, and we bring that love into our relationship. Now during love making, the expansiveness of our love goes far beyond the physical body and into a space of one. You don't feel body, you don't feel the separation between self and other. All you feel is the one. And anyone who has had that level of love in their partnership has felt that in their lovemaking. That's a very easy, I don't know about easy, but that's a very real place that each person can get to in their partnerships. And in that you feel the connectedness to the all. You feel the absence of being separate. So that says that separateness is your greatest illusion. And it is. Because remember, if we go back to the metaphor of the chord, it's one chord. And when note C is out of tune, it's not separate from the chord. It may sound awful, and the chord isn't in harmony anymore. The whole chord isn't in harmony anymore because note C is out of tune. But note C didn't leave the chord. There is no separation. So that fear of being separate from, that fear of loss, that fear of death, that drives a lot of what makes us fearful in this life. Love is an absence of the separateness. And so it reunites and pulls us back together. It brings harmony back into our lives. But it does begin from inside you, because you, in truth, are love. So I hope that gives you a taste of love in this life and why all of us are longing for love, because we're longing to get back home to that unity and harmony of the one. And why we look for a partnership? The same reason. So may all of you, until next time, find that beautiful light within you that is love, because love is light and it is expansive. Thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you so much for joining me, and please visit KristenBomas.com, where you can easily access all of my social circles.